Hello, everybody. You're listening to the Big Chill Podcast. This is episode 17, the NFC West Situation. Welcome, everyone, to another great episode of the Big Chill Podcast. I am happy to say we have resurrected Sam's dead body from the grave, a little Weekend at Bernie's style. So Eddie's actually going to shove his arm up him and ventriloquist style doll.
I was doing that anyway. That has nothing to do with him being dead. That's just what Sam likes.
Yeah, the gay thing is coming in super early then. What's that, a record? Like 8 seconds?
I wasn't even trying to be in that one. That was all Eddie took that the wrong way. I just thought you looked just like a ventriloquist doll.
I JJ wanted him.
So, Sam, good to hear your voice.
Yeah, good to be back. The reports of my death were greatly exaggerated after I listened to the previous podcast. Did you miss me?
Yeah. Did you see Schitt's Creek dominated in the Emmys? Are you happy for that?
I didn't even know about it. What?
I don't even get what the reference is.
It's to one of the main characters.
Oh, is one of the main characters gay?
Yeah, like super.
Wow,
super
Frank,
flamboyantly
so
gay.
homophobic.
Wow, I mean that's
not homophobic. That's
Sam
celebrating it.
Sam is not defined by his sexuality. Okay.
I mean,
you don't need to bring it up all the time. Okay?
I just like being fisted like a ventriloquist dummy.
By a man or a woman. You didn't specify who.
Yeah, that's true. I don't
It's
care.
not necessarily a gay activity.
It is genderless fisting I'm after. Yeah. Oh, you can't even say gendered, right? Because that implies that
Fluid
man
fisting.
or woman, fluid. Oh, that's a little bit different.
Super fluid fisting.
Yeah, for sure, fluid. But yeah, it was weird listening to your podcast. Well, our podcast, your podcast.
That wasn't your podcast.
No, but it was weird because it was quite fun to like listen back previously and be like, oh yeah, I remember that chat. It was a bit of fun. We talked about that. But it was just those parts of the time where I was listening to it going, when do I pop in? When do I interject? Absolutely nothing. I was like, this guy's quiet.
Eddie, how are you out in Paris? Do we have internet yet for you?
No internet. No. It's still the struggle. The struggle goes on. So no full-time internet. But yeah, things are okay.
Well, I have to assume at least the people are being extremely helpful to try and get you internet, right?
I know you're trying to bait me into telling a
No.
customer support story here.
I want this to be a thing. Just give us a little idea, Eddie. You know, what's an update from Thursday?
I've heard there's nothing better than the customer service in the Parisian internet. Yeah.
Yeah, so like I've had mixed results with calling their customer support. So I've been spending probably on average like 90 minutes a day on the phone with them. So that's been nice. And on Friday, I called a guy. You could tell just right off the bat that he was useless. You know, like when you speak to a customer support person, you're just like, this guy is not in the mood to help me. So I kind of realized that pretty early on. And so eventually I said to him, oh, sorry, I'm really busy. I'm going to call back and I'll call back later. And he was like, well, if you call back later, you're just going to speak to me again. I was like, why was that? He's like, well, because I'm the manager. So you're just going to end up speaking to me. So I said, so whenever I call back Orange, I'm always going to be speaking to you. And he said, well, not whenever. And I was like, I'll call back later then. So that was the end of our first.
It's like a little like minor defeat. There was a little spar and Eddie's 1-0 up. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And at least I've got a free kick in a dangerous area. Okay. And I call back. I get on a really friendly woman and she was very helpful. 1-0. So, you know, I've scored from the resulting set piece. And then things didn't go so well. So the things this friendly lady promised me didn't happen. Not the first time in my life that I could say that. And and then Saturday I call back trying to get through the customer support and I fall on the unhappy, useless guy again. Instantly I recognize his voice. He clearly recognizes mine. Not that hard, obviously, because I'm like a non-native French speaker, kind of had a lot going in for his and he had quite a distinct voice. So I instantly clocked that it was him. And that just made me want to give up. So I kind of like spoke to him for a little bit. He just started going through the same like usual spiel, like nothing was going to help. So I just said, I give up. And I hung up on him. And 15 seconds later, my phone rang. It was like, I could see from the number that it was him. And I picked it up and he said, "Oh, it seems that you've hung up on me, but I think you might need my help."
I love it.
I
love the audacity.
I would actually say he's doing that almost like to call you out again. He's like, "Oh, you may have called it." He knows what you did.
It's a troll job.
Yeah.
He's trolled you massively.
Yeah,
he knows Edward Hewitt is a major troller, and he said, "This is my opportunity for all those out there that have gotten trolled by Eddie Hewitt to return the favor and troll this fucker."
Oh yeah, and that we'll switch sports now. We'll go to tennis. That setup, that was a break first set to him, and this is just a 3-set match. I'm struggling at this point, but he gives me a glimmer of hope. He says, "You know what? I'm going to schedule an appointment for you because to go into with the pandemic rules at the moment, when you go to the store, you have to have an appointment or else you can't get in the store." He said, "I'll schedule an appointment for you, and they're going to give you a non-fiber internet box like router that you're going to be able to use until the fiber is installed in your house." I thought, that's perfect. It's not going to be as fast as I want, but it's better than using my phone as a hotspot. So I turn up today. Now, I turn up, and the thing is, when I first opened my internet plan like 7 years ago here, it was as part of a family plan. So it was like under the under the overall umbrella of my parents' plan, even though it's separate. So it like gets billed straight out of me and stuff. But technically, they are the owners of the contract. Like it's in there. I
love it. Mid-30-year-old adult still living under the umbrella of his parents' internet and phone also, service.
What I love is that I know how this is set up now. Basically, that's going to be the issue. He needed them there.
Yeah. So he
calls his mommy up and she
video chat. Just video chat next to him, like on the left. Just
I turn up for the appointment. I go, "Oh yeah, we'll just go in the store. We'll deal with you in a second." Guy comes up, says, "What are you here for?" I said, "You're supposed to have this box waiting for me. I'm just here to pick up the box." "Yeah, no problem. Sit down. Can you give me your ID?" And I was like, "Why do you need my ID?" He's like, "Oh, whenever you pick something up, we just take your ID." So I hand him my ID. He goes, "Well, you're not Carolyn Hewitt." I was like, "I'm glad it took the ID for you to figure that one out." Like,
you should have called him out right there. That's
I tempted. When I walked out of the store, I was close. I should have just doubled down on this and been like, "I used to be, and I've changed."
Yeah. Like, who the hell do you think you are?
And he said, "Yeah, we can't give it to you then." And I was like, "What are you talking about? Like, my name's also Hewitt. I have an appointment here. Do you think I'm just randomly walking?" I literally said to them, "Do you think I'm randomly walking around the streets of Paris, going into stores, hoping that one of them has an appointment in the name of Hewitt, on the off chance that I'll be able to pick up some free items?" And he was like, "No, obviously the appointment's for you." And I was like, "Exactly. So just give me the thing that I'm supposed to pick up." No,
I love when Eddie does like his asshole reasoning to people of things like that. Instead of going about it nicely, he has to put this like asshole scenario at them just to get them heated right off the bat.
The logic is fantastic. It's like the logic where he's just like, "Do you just think I've been a moron around the streets of Paris?"
Yeah.
But wouldn't you just be annoyed if like you were actually doing that and this was like the 6th store you hit and you got a fiber box?
So close to hitting the sweet deal of a wireless router.
Was looking for a TV. I'll take $100 wireless router.
Yeah, and so then I said, "So what's he was like, "I can't do it. Sorry, I have to scan." I was like, "Okay, I'll get a copy of the passport right now." No, it has to be the original. I have to scan the original. So I was like, "Oh God, okay. Why?" He's like, "Oh, if not, I'll get into trouble." So I said, "Who are you going to get into trouble with?" And he said, "With my manager." I was like, "Okay, can I speak to your manager then, please?"
Oh my God, is it the same manager?
It's the guy.
Is it like this round circle?
That would have been amazing. That would have been amazing. I would have shook his hand and walked off. I would have just gone, "Well played, sir."
And he sees you and he's like, "What do you think I am? You think I'm a manager just walks into every store looking to see if Hewitt is causing issues?"
What you can imagine is like this side story where this guy goes home and he's like, "You know what? This guy really rattled me today. He really pissed me off. I know what he's going to do now. So I've told him to go to this exact store. I'm going to become manager before he gets to that store and play this bastard."
Yeah, just a really motivated 48 hours on his part.
Yeah, worth it.
But no, so she comes over and she says, "Yeah, no, we can't do that." And I said, "Well, this is fantastic customer support and customer service." And she said, "I know it is. Thank you." And I left the store. And that was my day. That was a wonderful. That's how I used my lunch break today. It made me feel great.
How many people dead in the streets of Paris? God,
Not enough.
There never is, according to Eddie.
Never is, yeah. There's always more people that could die under Eddie's wrath.
Well, Eddie, I guess the only silver lining in that story was Sunday you got saved by one of the most miraculous comebacks in the history of the NFL.
Yeah. I'm one of many, right? Like, that's the thing. In a way, it ended up being a crazy NFL for a lot of people, anyone who had a bet on, because in the end, all of the heavy favorites ended up winning outright. So, like, for anyone who had a teaser on or just like a money line accumulator / parlay, whatever you want to call it, it ended up. Now, if you're just looking back on the scores, you're like, wow, what a predictable, straightforward day of NFL football. And in reality, it was full of twists and turns. And yeah, I mean, the big saving grace for me was the Cowboys' remarkable comeback against the Falcons.
Yeah, anyone with the teaser would have done great, except for that one asshole who put the Vikings in plus 10, thinking that they could cover 10 points.
Wow. You watched that game again? I would doubt
Kirk Cousins. I do not like that.
Well, he did say he was willing to die from the pandemic, and it turns out that he's just doing it every Sunday on the field.
Yeah, did you see his passer rating at halftime?
It was 0, wasn't it?
No, it was 6.4.
Oh, because he touched 0 at one point. He actually went to 0.
It was painful. It was honestly one of the most painful experiences watching Kirk Cousins against the Colts.
And then obviously
the really shitty part. Well, also I have to finish this. The shitty part was it was the only thing that lost in my teaser because, like Eddie said, I just took all the favorites, and you get 6-point swings, so most of them were 6 or 7 point to win. So all they had to do was cover. Like even I think I had the Chiefs at -2, so even they covered with their field goal in overtime, which we can talk about later. But the shitty part about it was up until midway through the fourth quarter, there was still every chance that the Vikings could have at least made it to 10. So the entire time I'm kind of watching this awful, depressing, pitiful game, just praying that somehow Kirk Cousins pulls one out and throws a deep bomb that somehow like Thielen gets or he breaks a tackle or something happens. And instead I had to watch Phillip Rivers just bend me over every series he got the ball in that fourth quarter. It was so depressing. And that was my only loss in a teaser where I bet double the amount I usually do because I was pretty confident in it.
Sam really enjoyed that imagery, by the way. I could see it on the look on his face.
That's why I muted. It's getting really hot in here. Or is it just me?
Yeah, I mean, look, we were all, you and I, on Thursday when we discussed it, we were both we both liked the Vikings. As it transpired, they're just bad. Like there's no other. And look, I know what happens now. Now is when you start to think the Vikings are bad, and
they get hot.
Yeah, they come out and they're the team that we thought they were. But no, it's just clear they're bad at this point because they're not. I guess the loss to the Packers doesn't look quite so bad now because it's clear that offensively the Packers are just really good. So maybe the week 1 blowout doesn't look quite so bad, but getting beaten in the way that they were this week looks awful. And given the fact that the Packers are 2-0 and just the number of teams that are going to meet, we kind of talked about this right on Thursday, the number of teams in the NFC that are going to have good records, the Vikings season is basically over now.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
we're going to think they're an overrated team until they throw an 80-yard touchdown pass at the end of the NFC Championship to screw us all over.
But I mean, conversely, right? It showed kind of, the Vikings were there showing whether that Packers loss was a fluke or not, and they clearly showed that they are just not a good team. But the Colts went the other way, right? They had that loss against the Jags. They looked pretty bad in it. They gave a lot of yardage away, and then they managed to stop Cousins as well as they did. I don't really know if that was Cousins being terrible or like the Vikings being as bad, but Colts actually looked pretty good. They put some good yardage up. They ran the ball well. They passed the ball well. So it's good to see them flip it the other way.
And in retrospect, that loss to the Jags doesn't look that bad when the Jags almost took down the Titans yesterday.
Yeah,
Although
I mean, I don't know.
Discuss how good the Titans really are, and how good of a game they really played against them in that week 2 scenario. But still, I mean, it does make the Jags look a little better.
It does marginally. I still think that Titans game, I mean, I don't have a lot to say on the Titans game, but that was one of those games where the Titans should have won it really easily, and they just kind of let the Jags hang around. So
Minshew magic.
yeah,
Minshew magic. I
Is
mean,
that
he
the
was
new
driving
magic?
at the end and then had the interception, right? So let's
the
just say
tipped
he
in-
kept
the tipped
going.
interception.
Could have been going. Could have been all the way. It could have been a great drive, and you would have seen another Jags win.
We could have saw a quirky ending.
Oh,
a
and
quirky
I mean,
quarterback.
we'll get to see such a quirky ending no matter what on Thursday. So, well, I mean, we can touch on that later. But the quirky Thursday is going to be here in full effect.
Yep. And teaser alert: this will not be the only time quirky comes up in this podcast. I have it teed up for later.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, just to go back to the Cowboys-Falcons game, because, I mean, I think that's the story of the weekend, even if that game, I mean, it has significance, obviously, for the Cowboys, because the implications for their season, if they had lost that, were not looking great. The Falcons just kind of keeping up their record that they seem to have every year of being either the good bad team or the bad good team. I don't know where they fall in that, but like the team that you kind of feel should be a playoff team almost, but then just never quite do it. But they're going to have 2 or 3 games this year where they play really well. I did like the stat that they showed after the game. I think there's something like the first team in history ever to score 35 plus points and have 0 turnovers and lose the game. And it's that they're like
bad.
They're like the 430th team to have that stat be true. And until yesterday, it was 430-0 or whatever, and now it's 430-1. I mean, if you bet on the Falcons, it's a rough Monday. Now, the real question here is, because I think Frank and I slightly disagree, was that a great onside kick, or was it just a terrible special teams, like a hands team play?
No, it was a terrible hands team play. So Dan Quinn actually addressed this. Obviously, he had to address it. And he said that his players are fully aware of the rule that they can touch it before 10 yards. It's not like the defense can't touch it either. And I understand the risk is if you touch the ball, then it's fair game for the Cowboys. Okay, that's fine. You don't want to do something stupid and like run and try and make a diving grab at a ball that's clearly not going to go 10 yards and risk Dallas getting it. When you're literally standing over the ball, watching it trickle from 6 yards to 7 yards to 8 yards, just fall on it. That guy could have fallen on it so easily. He literally watched it between his legs roll for 3 yards instead of picking it up.
Frank, this gives us a chance to pull out one of those classic NFL announcer commentator lines. Well, you know, that football is a weird shape, but it bounces in directions that you don't know.
It's so slippery. No, you can't let that ball roll that much if you have that good of an opportunity to jump on it. I think that's just a terrible play by them. Or if you're going to do that, then block the shit out of the Cowboys players. Don't watch the ball roll in between your legs and let the Cowboy players get as close as they are to the ball. So when it gets to 10, then they can just fall on it. Either you do one or the other. You jump on it or you beat the shit out of the Cowboys away from the ball. You don't just watch the ball roll and the Cowboys stand there waiting for it to jump on it. It was such a bad play.
So I agree with you that someone should have just fallen on it. And overall, to me, it's like amazing, relatively speaking, how bad NFL players are at like either falling on balls or like picking up basically stationary balls. Like the skill involved in that, to me, like it stuns me whenever you watch like even just a fumble, and people really struggle with that. Yeah. So in this instance, it's mind blowing that no one fell on it. The only thing I will say from the actual kick technique standpoint, the fact that he got the perfect weight on it. Like it
was a great kick.
That's what does it for them, because I think the thing that probably for all the guys up front, what they're thinking is like, this isn't going 10. So don't touch it. It's not going 10, because it looked like it was going to stop at like 6. And so I think what saved him in a way is because it was going so slowly. It was like, don't do anything stupid because this isn't going 10. And then it was like, okay, it's 7. It's not 8. It's not 9. It's not, oh shit, they got the ball.
Yeah.
And I think that's what was so great about it.
The only thing I'll give them is I don't think anyone has ever seen an onside kick like that before, without a tee, kicking it on the side like he did and rolling it around like the way it rolled. So maybe, like you were saying, they were a little just confused as the situation, not thinking it was going to make it because they've never seen a kick move like that before. But if you have that chance, at the very beginning, that guy had a chance to fall on it so easily, and it would have just ended the game.
Yeah, I mean, there is another universe, right, where that kick, because it didn't look like it was going the full 10, and if he falls on it and he like brushes it and then a Cowboys player picks it up, the reverse, everyone is like, why did you fall on it? All you had to do was not touch it and it wasn't going 10 yards. So you can kind of see from a player's perspective. But yeah, I know, I think it's a major mess up. I will say I have to own up to the fact I didn't watch it live. I gave up on the Cowboys game and I was resigned to the fact that they were going to lose. So I didn't watch it.
Eddie was 1.5 foot on his windowsill ledge at that point. Then he just happened to see a message by me and Sam in the chat, and he turned over his shoulder.
I could just hear the announcers in the background, but I was just like, I was like, goodbye, sweet world. And then just at that moment, just about to kick the stool, suddenly heard, oh, the Cowboys have it.
You know what, Frank? When he was on his windowsill and he looked down, do you know who was on the ground level? It was that orange manager. It's like, I got you.
He was live Facebook videoing it.
He's holding up a picture of the fiber box.
I might have to, like Conor McGregor after the sexual assault allegations, or, not sexual assault, but sort of public indecency allegations. He came out in his response denying it. His opening line was, as much as everyone wants it, I'm not going to kill myself. I might have to start saying this to like customer support people. Like, you are not going to push me over the edge. You might think you can do it, but trust me, you can't.
That's funny.
Yeah, I've had enough one-bet losses in my life to borderline suicide, but not actually go through with it.
Exactly. And you are the 9th person I've had to speak to for a different service this week. So trust me, been there, done that.
So the other big comeback game was the afternoon game for the Chiefs, which overall it was pretty good football for week 2, better than week 1. You had the Cowboys win, you had the Chiefs come back, and then you had a really good Sunday night football game made interesting by Cam Newton almost being allowed to come back in that game. It shouldn't have been as close as it was, but it made for an absolute killer of an ending. And the Giants almost pulled off a miraculous win. But
we don't need to talk about the Giants.
Unfortunately, they did not.
Yeah, we can just skip that. That game goes down as one of the least eventful games of the NFL season, so we don't.
Are you sure? Because one of the number 1 fantasy players was out for the year because of it, so it's not that.
Okay, this is the only thing I will say is, obviously I think we're probably going to touch on the numerous injuries later on. What I will say is, you and I have had a debate regularly about, do you ever spend a high draft pick on a running back? And I think Saquon Barkley is like an incredible running back. That being said, this is the nail in the coffin for me on the argument of ever spending like a top 20 pick. Like, I wouldn't spend a first rounder on a running back at this point. And
I would spend like a late first rounder.
I wouldn't.
Isn't that what the Chiefs did?
The Chiefs, the 32nd pick.
Yeah.
I think that will end up being I think that ends up being a mistake. It's exciting now, but it won't be exciting when he either fumbles the ball for 6 games and gets cut, or gets injured and never comes back. Like the things that happen to running backs, or you draft a 5th round rookie 2 years from now, that guy gets a few carries and looks really good, and that guy's lost his job. Like, there's just so many good running backs that pop up in the 4th, 5th, 6th round, or even undrafted. I don't get why you would spend a high draft pick on one.
Well, I would love to argue this. Maybe we save it for another one. I agree on the running back situation. And the reason I agree is because they're so easily turned over. You'll see all the time where you have this star running back on a team and he's racking up points, and then he gets hurt, and then 2 weeks later there's some unknown guy, and then you hear every time it's this, oh my God, this guy came out of nowhere and he's amazing. Look how great he is. No, maybe he's not that great. Maybe he's just in a good system because the superstar that he replaced is putting up the same numbers, and you see that a lot. And a great example is James Conner in Pittsburgh. You had Le'Veon Bell, who was this amazing, amazing running back, the best running back in the NFL maybe ever. Look at these stats. He goes to the Jets, sucks. He's off the team, whatever. I don't even remember now if he's officially off.
No,
then
he's
you
still
had
on the team. He was just injured.
Well, he's
this
on
week.
IR, right? He's on
Yeah,
IR.
he is. We're not breaking news here. He is still
No.
on the team. He is still a Jet.
And then you have James Conner step in, and it's this amazing story about how great James Conner's doing. Well, maybe he's just in a really good system that can run the ball well no matter who's there. And I think that's always been the case for most running backs. Where
Nowadays,
if the
in the modern
system is
era,
good.
I think back in the
the thing is, because there's so many good athletes too, that like Saquon Barkley is without a doubt at the highest level of how athletically talented he is. But a lot of backs, they're so similar between the first, second, and even third string from an athletic standpoint that they can just fill in good systems, and you rarely see that much of a decrease in their production of the running game production.
This is also, right, for Barkley, a little bit unfortunate because it came in the game after Tiki Barber kind of publicly went after him.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, for anyone who didn't hear it, Tiki Barber was basically critical of him, saying that his blocking isn't good enough and that he's a liability as a running back because he can't pick up rushers when he's not asked to actually carry the ball. And kind of seemed like a semi-fair criticism, I suppose. It just seemed a weird move.
There was one block that he terribly missed in that game. I mean, it got Jones killed. So that's probably where it came from. But the thing I was going to say about your not drafting running backs, could you right now also make the case that it's a terrible move to draft a quarterback in the first round or early?
I would say no.
Let's go through, right? Who's the best QBs? Mahomes.
Yeah, he's a first round pick, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a first round pick, but he's not a high one. He was the sixth quarterback taken.
Yeah, okay, but he was a first rounder.
Lamar Jackson,
first rounder,
but not the first QB taken at all. He
no,
was like
but,
what? Also the fifth or sixth.
Yeah.
Drew Brees.
Okay,
he wasn't a first rounder. Aaron Rodgers
was a first rounder, right? I know he
very late.
Yeah, but Aaron Rodgers was a bizarre one too, right? Because it was the Rodgers versus Smith. Smith goes number one, and then Rodgers dropped. But Rodgers was
like 25th or something.
He was in a battle for the number one. So like I think Rodgers still kind of gets classified as a high draft pick.
25th, I think, or 24th, or Wilson.
Wilson was like a fourth rounder, I think, off the top of my head.
Cam, I guess I'll go through him so you can think.
Cam Newton was a first rounder.
I mean, Cam Newton's not top 5 anymore.
Cam Newton was number one overall, I think.
He was number one overall. He was. Yeah. You know what I mean? So even right now, with the way this league's set up, I think wasting a top 10 pick on a quarterback might even be a legitimate argument.
My argument, I would agree with you, but here's the difference. I think statistically you are no more likely to be successful drafting a quarterback in the top 10 than you are, say, drafting a quarterback in the third to the fifth round. Whereas statistically from a quarterback perspective, you're definitely far more likely to get a regular starter out of a guy taken in the first round than you are out of a guy taken in the fifth round. Like there are obviously people like Tom Brady or Drew Brees. They are the exceptions. But like realistically, if you draft a quarterback in the first round, that guy's probably going to turn into an NFL starter.
Yeah, I just think, I mean, we can go through the list. In the past 5 years, you have Jared Goff was taken number one overall.
Fine.
Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray.
Yeah, and you'd have to say Jared Goff, the jury's still out on him a little bit, but fundamentally he was part of one of the historically best offenses and then went to a Super Bowl, lost a close Super Bowl, admittedly one in which he didn't really turn up. And then last year, like they were the only team not to make the playoffs with a winning record. He actually didn't have quite as bad of a year as people made out. And so if this
people
year,
made out,
yeah, if this year he bounces back, which so far through 2 weeks he has bounced back, at that point you're going to say like that guy is firmly in the top 15, arguably in the top 10. So you would say not a bad number one overall pick. Baker Mayfield Jury is definitely
Bust.
still out. He's not in the bust category for me, but it depends. Week 1, bust. Week 2, he looked pretty good on Thursday night, I gotta say. And he had his like full-on Baker swagger back, and that was good to see. If you want Baker to do well, just the way he carried himself and his energy on Thursday night was exactly what you wanted to see from him. And what I like about Baker when he does have the swagger and the energy is it's not just the kind of asshole pompous swagger. There's like a focused energy behind it, which was what you saw on Thursday, which was like there was a high confidence, and it was the Baker who said like, I woke up feeling dangerous this morning. Like it was that guy, but at the same time, it was a guy who woke up feeling dangerous, who was focused on winning and not just focused on grabbing some headlines.
And then you forgot about the star, Kyler Murray.
Look, it's too early to tell, but he looks great this year. He looks great.
Which
like
I think brings up the difficult conversation Eddie has to have. Are the Niners done this year, and do they have a chance to win the NFC West or to even make the playoffs?
They've got a really good chance to make the playoffs because with the expanded playoffs, they could finish 3rd in the NFC West and make the playoffs. They could conceivably finish 4th
That would be
and make
crazy.
the playoffs. But like, I actually think that 3 teams from the NFC West are making the playoffs. Like, I think that's
all 4 could do it.
All 4 could, but I think that just because of beating each other, that's unlikely to happen. But I think definitely 3 will make it. Now, the thing that saves the Niners obviously it looks like Bosa's out for the year. That's
Bosa
huge.
is torn ACL and done.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And
Garoppolo's out for a couple of weeks. It's a high ankle sprain.
Garoppolo has a labia sprain or something like that.
Look, but here's the thing is, right? I'm a Garoppolo fan, but Mullins, when he filled in for Garoppolo 2 years ago, looked good. And a lot of people were arguing, even when Garoppolo came back, that Mullins should have kept the job. Now, I'm going to say that there's not a significant enough drop off from Garoppolo to Mullins where I'm concerned from a quarterback standpoint. They've got running back injuries, but kind of touching on the subject we had before, even though like Mostert's like clearly the best at the moment, they're kind of plug and play in the backfield, and whoever they put out there puts up yards. And
Mostert is fast, man.
Yeah, I mean that
80-yard touchdown.
Yeah, that 80-yard was
fast.
mental.
But literally, okay, maybe
also hurt.
Yeah, he's hurt, but if he doesn't play next week, I don't think that hurts their running game. Now, Bosa's the real issue, and they're going to have to bring an edge rusher in because also D Ford's like constantly injured.
Well, he's coming back, but someone else is hurt for them on their D line.
Yeah, I mean they're all hurt apart from Armstead. Like everyone else who was starting for them last year is either hurt or, in the case of DeForest Buckner, gone. But like D Ford's just constantly injured. I mean, he just permanently
his whole career he's been injured all the time, except that one season he wasn't injured and he put up crazy numbers.
Now they have options. Like Clay Matthews is hanging around out there. They could go and sign Clay Matthews as an edge rusher.
That's a team ruiner.
Just to fill a void. There's other players too. Like the thing that's also going to save them, they were lucky they were playing the Jets this week because the Jets are terrible. So even with getting hit by injuries during the game that severe, they never look like losing. They're also safe because next week they're playing the Giants, and even a beaten up Niners, you're going to beat the Giants. But realistically, I think even with the injuries they have, when you look at their schedule, they can squeak out 3 from the next 4.
So they have the Giants and then the Eagles.
Win.
Dolphins.
The Eagles look terrible. Win.
Dolphins playing
they
a lot
posted.
tougher.
I thought it's pretty
They're
good.
putting up efforts. Rams,
Loss.
Patriots, Seahawks. Oof.
Oh,
So
that's
here's the thing is, I would, on paper, assuming that they don't make any big trades or big signings and assuming all those injuries are as severe as first thought. Now, bear in mind, they've got people who will come back in that time period too. Like Deebo Samuel will come back. The assumption would be that Kittle would be back at least within the next couple of weeks. On paper, I would say they're going to lose to the Seahawks and they're going to lose to the Rams. But I would say that there's all the others are a win. apart from the Patriots, which would maybe be a toss-up, but I would still say I give them a chance. And so that's why I'm not willing to write off their season yet. I'm writing off they're not winning the division. I think we all picked them to win the division. That's gone. They're just not going to win the division now. But I think they can still make the playoffs.
This division is just looking deadly. I mean, the Cardinals, granted, they were playing the Redskins, but again, looked really, really good.
Oh.
I mean, Kyler Murray seems to have improved leaps and bounds. And we talked about that when we talked about our preview.
Frank.
I mean, he had a
racist Frank.
Racist.
What?
We are
sorry,
not
the Washington football team.
Damn it.
You remember off when we were off the podcast, and I said, how many times are people going to mess up this season? There's you one.
Yeah, I did it. But Murray, he had 280, a touchdown, and then 2 rushing touchdowns.
Look, I'm not gonna. The Cardinals look good. I think they snuck
Here's
one
the
out.
issue with the
They
Cardinals.
snuck one out against the Niners, and they beat.
Yeah.
They beat a very bad team. I'm not going to overreact to that.
The issue with them is then they play the Lions, the Panthers, and the Jets. So assuming
that's 3
nothing
wins.
crazy, the Cardinals are coming out 5-0.
Yeah.
Which is crazy that, if
Or
they
they-
can just pull off 3 out of the next rest of the season, they're an 8-win team already, and then you
Yes.
have
But Frank,
you have the Seahawks.
hold your horses a little bit here. Or they do what the Cardinals do, and they lose to the Lions, and even if they're 4-1 after that start, then you go lose to the Rams, lose to the Seahawks, lose to the Seahawks, lose to the Rams, lose. They're going to be, and then suddenly you go, oh, the Cardinals finished 8-8.
Well, I don't think that's going to be possible because they also play the Giants. They also play the Dolphins.
Oh, wait, hold on a second. I thought that, to quote you from a few minutes ago, the Dolphins, they're putting up efforts.
They are putting up efforts, but the Cardinals are a much better team than the Niners. I mean, the Niners look awful, and they have no
Hold on.
That seems...
Maybe
Maybe there's some goading there. I think there's goading.
Oh, of course, it's Frank. There's always goading. It's his middle name, but
Thanks, Mom and Dad.
yeah.
Yeah.
But no, look, let's see what happens. The Cardinals could be good, but as someone who obviously follows the NFC West closely every year, there have been lots of years where the Cardinals have looked pretty good for a couple of weeks, and then they either lose to a team they shouldn't have lost to, or look, they're 1 injury away. I think you see the number of injuries there were last week. This week. Clearly the lack of a preseason is going to lead to more injuries than usual because players aren't in the sort of condition that they normally would be in when they're starting to play full speed. And then on top of it too, I mean, in the Niners case, obviously there's an issue. They're complaining about the field at MetLife, which is concerning because they're playing there again in 6 days. So if 5 of them went out in this game and 5 of them go out in the next game, I'm a couple weeks away from playing for PSG with all the suspensions and the coronavirus, and then I'm a couple weeks more away from playing for the Niners. I might be the first NFL/League On player.
I don't think that record would ever be broken.
Yeah, there we go. Something for us to aim for.
Yeah.
Think how much the podcast would take off.
Yeah, that would be impressive.
So who's your best team in the NFC West right now?
Seahawks.
Seahawks, yeah.
Yeah. Was it? I mean, Russell Wilson twice now has just looked so good. It was great to watch. It was great to see anyway.
Yeah, I mean, defensively, they were a little questionable, I have to say. And they also had a few injuries that might make them struggle defensively. But when you just look at the way Wilson is playing right now, there's been some elite quarterback play from several different people. I mean, from Lamar Jackson, from Aaron Rodgers, from Mahomes. But through 2 weeks, I would say Wilson has looked the best. And his performance last night was like incredible.
Unreal.
Against a Patriots secondary that is good. That's the other issue too. Like, that Patriots, they said during the game, right, that stat that last year the Patriots only gave up 4 touchdowns to wide receivers. and they gave up more than 4 touchdowns to wide receivers in that game alone.
Yeah, it was crazy. And the thing with Wilson as well, I think he threw to 5 different receivers as well. So he can clearly go. He's got loads of different weapons to go. I just think it looks really good for Wilson at the moment.
And their receivers are good. That's the other thing, too. It's not a situation. He has legitimate weapons around him in the wide receiver position.
Yeah.
DK Metcalf is an absolute freak. He is insane. I still don't get how he slipped through the cracks in the draft this much. Just purely on the fact of his combine alone was he put up absolutely ridiculous numbers and is shredded to the max. But on the field now, he is backing it up. I mean, so he had that touchdown catch over Gilmore, which he basically, the ball was even a little underthrown. Like, it wasn't a bad throw by Wilson, but it wasn't a perfect throw. He kind of leaned back and just snatched it right from Gilmore. And I thought the really neat fact was that was the first TD reception Stephon Gilmore is allowed in 2 seasons when he was the nearest defender. So he had 104 targets without allowing a TD since that one. It's crazy. I mean, no one scores off of Stephon Gilmore, and he just blew by him and ripped the ball right out from under him to score. Like, they look good.
Well,
but you're right.
I actually think you're doing I think you're doing a disservice to Gilmore there, because my argument would be that, like, Gilmore's play on that was basically perfect.
No, he was burnt. A better throw, he looks even worse. He was burnt. He had 2 steps on him. Gone.
We'll have to agree to disagree on this one. I think
we can just watch it afterwards, and you can agree with me.
I think A was a pretty perfect throw, because I think whenever you're like, Wilson was about to get hit, so the idea that he was like underthrowing it, like the fact that he managed to get the ball off in the way that he did is pretty crazy, which I think was true of a couple of the throws he made last night.
Yeah, no. I'm not saying it was a bad throw by that. I'm saying in terms of, like, where would you optimally want that ball put? Metcalf had to turn back and catch it, as opposed to being two steps clear of Gilmore and over the shoulder. Gilmore wouldn't even come close to touching him.
All right. We'll have to agree to disagree.
I mean,
we'll just watch it.
The thing with that Seahawks game, though, right, was apart from the last goal stand at the end, we would have been talking about how good Cam was in that game, because he was great. I mean, I looked at his, like, 3rd down conversions in that game, and he was basically like, I think it was like 7 for 7, 87 yards, like 3 runs. I think there was 1 sack. And obviously, if it wasn't for that goal line stop, you've got the Patriots winning. And suddenly you're flipping the QB argument. You'd say Cam's had 2 really good games, and he still has. But all we're doing at the moment is talking about how good Russell Wilson was. Of course he was. But I still think the Pats played really well in that game, and they still look a pretty good outfit.
They did, and Cam Newton played really well, and I think also he deserves credit because, like, he did the thing Cam Newton does really well, which is he's just unstoppable in the red zone when he decides to keep the ball until the goal line at the end. But he was really accurate with his passing, which is like the thing with Cam Newton you're always worried about, that he's just going to make a couple stupid throws. That being said, even though the Patriots could have very nearly won that game and arguably maybe should have, given the situation they were in on the final play, watching it, I just always felt like the Seahawks were way better, and it was kind of confusing as to how the Patriots were sort of still in the game. Like, you had the pick 6 to start the game off. You had, like, all these, like, little plays. I didn't get the Seahawks decision on the 3rd and 1, like, which gave the Patriots the ball back down 5. How you don't just run the ball. Because if nothing else, you would have forced them to use a timeout, which that timeout ended up being pretty crucial to allowing them to kind of comfortably move down the field. But also, it's just like, I think they were averaging over 5 yards a carry. I never get, sometimes NFL head coaches, they just overthink it. They just literally, which I have to give the Patriots credit to in a way, when they had that goal line, like the final play of the game, in my mind, I was like, I know what they're going to do here. Everyone thinks that Cam is going to keep the ball, and they're going to do something, they're going to overthink it, and they're going to do something else, even though he's looked unstoppable. And my only criticism of the play is, they just turned him into a running back, because they just brought everyone in and then just had him run to the left. Whereas everything else, they've been spreading the wide receivers out, and then they'd have been having him kind of like drop back and then go. which also gave him the option in certain other of the situations where he did run it in of still passing if he wanted to, which they did do actually on the one touchdown where he just like dumped it over.
The one touchdown was the identical play design as the play they ran at that last game, except the fullback chipped off of the D end and then went out for the pass. So it was like it looked exactly like a designed run, and then you just have that fullback chip off, and he threw him that touchdown pass. And that was pretty much the exact same, except they went the other way, but the exact same layout of the play. So I think maybe they were thinking that they would bite on the fact that he was going to throw again, and they wouldn't be as aggressive to get him. But I agree. I don't understand in that option when you have Cam Newton. I love the idea of running him, but give him an option. I don't think it should just be like a designed QB run, like you're saying, as the running back. Give him the option where he can run, he can make that off tackle run, but then that there's also maybe like a tight end trailing in the back of the end zone where if he gets 5 guys coming to him and he knows he can't make it, then just throw it up and have a chance. Like he had no chance that play when he was just running, when he didn't have an option, and Seattle just seemed to want that play more. And there was, what I hated about that was they kept saying like, oh, what a great play by this one guy to shed his block and be there to make the tackle. There was like 7 guys there to make the tackle. I mean, the Seahawks just completely dominated that play.
Well, no, the one big defensive play that they had was the guy who blew through the fullback and who actually blows through the fullback and makes the first contact with Cam Newton. I agree with you.
But just the other guy that was also right there at the same time. Do you know what I mean?
Probably. But you are also, I guess, from what you're saying with the identical play design, just flip play. If he hadn't blown through the fullback, then maybe the fullback is there for the pass. The thing I just don't get is you have this like unstoppable force in Cam Newton. Spread the field and get as few, like, why would you have all 11 players in his way?
Yeah.
Why don't you just have 2 wide receivers out wide on each side, and so that you know that when he takes off, okay, maybe there's 2 or 3 guys he has to get through, not 7. That's
the only way he's getting through is a bundle, right? There's no real creativity in what's going on there.
Well, that's the other thing.
Bundling over or getting pushed over in a way.
Well, that's the other thing. If you're going to do that, just run him up the middle. Just have him full steam go through
exactly. Drop the gut, right?
But the fact that we're going to put all 11 players in this small zone, and then we're just going to have him run to the edge and just hope that we win, because basically at that point you're removing the strength of Cam Newton and you're hoping that your blockers do the job at that moment. Like, it doesn't matter that he's Cam Newton, and that's the bit that doesn't make any sense.
And that's the annoying part too, is I don't understand. If you looked at that game, the Patriots weren't running the ball well at all. I don't think they even had 100 yards running. I don't think they even had like 50 yards running, maybe.
Cam Newton, I think,
the ball well.
I think Cam Newton led. I think he had like 45. Cam Newton.
Yep.
He led the rushing. He led them in rushing, and then Sony Michel.
I just pulled it up. Sony Michel had 20 yards.
Yeah. 50. Now here's the one thing I will say.
So if they're not running the ball well, why are you designing a run play? Because that was a run play.
Frank, I think this is where the Patriots running backs are going to get a little bit killed over the course of this season for one simple reason. And that's going to be teams are going to sell out trying to stop Cam Newton from running the ball. And in the process, they are just going to stop the run overall for the Patriots. So I do think I feel a little bit sorry at times for some of the Patriots running backs. Now, obviously, they were missing White as well yesterday, for sad reasons. But I just think that in a way, you're not putting your running back in the best position to succeed. A lot of times too, because like when it's an RPO and you can kind of like, if Cam Newton either doesn't get the read right, and so he hands it off and this guy's just getting stuffed, or more importantly, I think sometimes in his mind, he might even think, someone's going to get stuffed here, and I'd rather it was this guy than me. So here you go. You take the ball because this linebacker is just closing in on us. I think no Patriots running back is going to excel this year.
Yeah, and that's fine, and I agree with you 100%. So if that's the case, if they're selling out for the run, why is your go-to play a designed run? Make it an RPO. Make it something with an option to run if he can, but to give him the ability to do something else if they sell out for the run, which on that play, they had sold out for the run. I mean, by the time he got hit, 9 guys were on top of him in the backfield. I mean, they were sold out for the run. And that's why I don't agree with that. I don't mind
we
putting
both
the ball
disagree with
in his
right?
hand, right? I just, it's a designed run, I think, is a stupid call there.
And here's the only thing. You also know my fundamental opinion, which I never get when you have a mobile quarterback. Just roll them out and just run the play where he's rolling out to his, like, assuming he's a right-handed quarterback, he's rolling out to his right, and he has one or two receivers or a running back coming out of the backfield, basically running perpendicular directly in front of him. And I think that's such an unstoppable play because either they have to come to try and close down the quarterback, in which case he probably like almost always has an easy pass, or they don't go to close him down and he can pick it up himself. And then the Seahawks did it themselves, right? Like one of their first touchdown was, I think exactly that, was Wilson rolling out and then finding Lockett. To me, that's the thing.
And the Mahomes
I would just run that play.
Conversion, same play.
Yeah, I would just run that play.
He had 3 guys
every
time. With
time.
him.
Yeah. Yep. And for any of our fans that have ever played Eddie at Madden, will know that is constantly his play. So probably Tim or myself, he does not throw in the pocket. That is just something that never happens. He will just roll out and he will run or he will bomb down the field.
Yeah, I mean, no, I'm consistent. I'm the head coach that I would want.
Yeah, it was a great game to watch. It was a good Sunday night game, and it was enjoyable too because you're coming off of the Chiefs comeback, which was a pretty impressive comeback from Mahomes. And I'm sure everyone is talking about how great Mahomes is. And Eddie and I had discussed it while it was happening. He didn't have a great game up until that fourth quarter, but there's something just about him where he gets put into these tough situations. They were down and out. I mean, I thought they were done. And he just shines in that situation. It's as if he just doesn't care and plays looser and better and just more efficient. It's crazy to me. Like, he is one of those once in a generation people that no matter the situation, he's just going to play his game and he's going to make those crazy throws and those crazy rollouts and try stuff that I think a lot of other people in that situation would be too nervous that they were going to blow the game because they're already down. And he just doesn't seem to happen for him. It was fun to watch. I mean, he's exciting to watch. I could watch him play like that all the time.
Yeah. I mean, I will say, I think overall he had a pretty bad game. And the comeback covers up for the fact that their offense was anemic for 75% of that game, and that if they were
lacking iron,
exactly, they were. And if he had been 50% of his usual self, they would have won that game comfortably. So I think that there is that element. Like, he did not look good, and so to me, it's always interesting where you can have a bad game, but then you have the key, like 2 final drives, and suddenly everyone praises your performance. And the reality is like, no. He was a D for 80% of the game, and he's been an A+.
I wouldn't say a D.
I would say...
I love how harsh you are.
Okay, I'll give him a C. I mean, what?
I mean, he didn't do anything bad. He didn't throw picks. I mean, he didn't fumble.
I guess if 3 and outs don't count as being bad. You're right. They had no turnovers. That was the only saving grace, is there was only 1 turnover in the game, and that was the Herbert deep throw. Yeah. And that was the key play, right? Like, if he hadn't done that, they're done. Without that interception, that's game over. To me, the star of the show, though, clearly is Butker.
Oh,
and here's the question I have to add. Like, obviously, for anyone who didn't see it, you got into this situation. I didn't like it. They were 4th and 1 in overtime.
Eddie, set the scene a little better.
Yeah, I didn't actually see the game, so I'd like to.
Okay, so
set the scene for Sam.
So he hits a game-tying field goal to send the game to overtime, which was like a 35-yarder. It was, for him, a chip shot gimme. Like,
in the first half,
he had hit a
58-yarder, right?
Yeah, he hit a 58-yarder, which tied the franchise record, and probably would have been good from like 65. Then they get into overtime. Now, this is the issue I have from the Chargers' perspective. I think they lost that game because they became too conservative in both the fourth quarter and then definitely in overtime. The Chargers had a 4th and 1. Admittedly, it was on their own, like 40 maybe, something like that, on their first possession.
Closer.
And they
it might have been like 35.
Yeah, they decided to punt. And to me, I just think you have to realize that when you're then in a situation where the Chiefs just need a field goal to win, you have to go for it, because once you've given the ball back to the Chiefs, your win percentage is probably 15%.
And they were hot
20%.
at that point. They had scored their last 3 drives or 2 drives. They looked.
To me, you have to ask yourself, like, which one of these is more likely? We stop the Chiefs from picking up 30 yards, which is what they need then for a field goal attempt, or we pick up a 4th and 1. And if you have any faith, and then the Chargers were running the ball pretty well that game, so they should have just gone for it.
And they have a mobile QB. Justin Herbert is actually really, really fast.
Who was running people over. Also, that's the other. That was the big takeaway from that game, is he was injuring players tackling him, which was.
I'll talk about my love for Justin Herbert later, but Eddie,
so,
did you hear
to
who
keep
also
going,
said?
Wait,
real quick. Did you hear who also said that they should go for it?
Herbert?
No, Tony Romo, who was announcing the game, said, "If I'm the Chargers, you have to go for it here on 4th and 1, because if we give the ball back to the Chiefs, consider it game over." And he was right.
Yeah. And for example, there was the interesting one, like last week, the Texans kind of took that approach against the Chiefs because they went for it, I think, on a 4th and 1, like in the first half, didn't they? On their own, like 30 or 40, and they turned the ball over. And it was one of those things that looks stupid, but it's like, if you're going to beat the Chiefs, you probably just have to do this. Like, you have to keep the ball out of their hands. Anyway, so Sam, they punted the ball back to the Chiefs. The Chiefs kind of like gradually made their way to the edge of field goal range and then had a 4th and 1, and it was going to be a 53-yard field goal. Okay. And again, watching the game, I just thought, you go for this. You don't try and kick a 53-yard field goal, because then if you miss it, you also lose the territory. Like the Chargers get the ball from where the kick was actually taken. So you're then giving the Chargers the ball on basically midfield.
And there was only about two minutes left. So it would have been the Chargers would have gotten the ball back, and it would have been the last drive of the game. Yeah. So you give them the chance to, in a worst case scenario, gain 9 yards and try like a 60-yard field goal to potentially win it anyway. It would have been 20 yards. They could have won that game.
Yeah, that makes no sense to me. Like you back your offense to get one.
Well, now
at the least, right?
Chiefs.
It's the Chiefs. Now here's the thing is, and they'd already converted a 4th and 1 on the drive. Now here's on a play that I actually hated the play they ran on the 4th and 1, because I never liked the idea, like it was a handoff, but I never like when you actually like go back to give it to your running back and so lose yardage. So you make your running back from a 4th and 1 effectively started like 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. I never like that idea, because you are just giving time for someone to get into the backfield and make the tackle. Now it worked out, but anyway, Sam, they attempt the 50. He goes to attempt this 53-yard field goal, nails it, but there was a false start on the offense, so they moved them back 5 yards.
That's 58.
So this first one is 53. He hits it. It's starting to drift left, but he still makes it in probably by about, like 4 feet?
Couple feet, yeah. But it would have been good distance-wise. It would have been good from like 65.
But it might have went wide left at 65.
Yeah.
So now we're going 58.
Yeah. So then they go back.
And now
to
you're in a shitty situation. Now it's 4th and 6. So now you can't go for it.
Yeah. So most people, in my mind at this point, I was like, just punt it, because now even more, you're giving the Chargers 5 more yards if you attempt it. So you're really losing the game if he misses it. Now he goes to go for it. They ice him, so they call a timeout right as he's about to take the kick. He nails the kick.
Drills it.
Wow.
So now he's going to attempt a third 50-plus yard field goal, at which point you just got to be like, the odds of him doing this are so slim. Like, he's hit 3 50-plus yard field goals in the space of 90 seconds and does it. And it was the best field goal he'd taken. He absolutely nailed it right down the middle and would have been good from 65, 70.
70. If he drilled the second one and I said, wow, that was his kick. Like, he's done now. There's no way. And then he doubles down on the third one and kicks it even better. It was super impressive.
Now, here's the question, Frank. How many would you have if you'd been Andy Reid? Like, how many times would he have had to have retaken it before you had decided, no, we're going to punt now? Not assume they're not losing distance. And obviously the Chargers couldn't have called multiple timeouts. But let's just say some like bizarre scenarios had happened where he just keeps being forced to retake it? Like, what's the number before you would have been like, now switch to the punt?
I think you just keep going.
He's on his 11th attempt. He's gassed. His leg is about to fall off, and you're just like, do it again.
Eddie,
man.
at that point, the statistics would tell you he's going to make it.
I guess so. Yeah, that's true. And this is the interesting thing.
Yeah, I think at that point, you just keep going.
This is the interesting thing. For the Chiefs to also have the best kicker in the league is a crazy combination. It's just crazy to like, not only you've got this offense that's so hard to stop, and now you're basically saying once they get to your 45, they've scored.
Probably got 3. So you don't even have to get out of your half to have a shot.
No, I mean, it means that when you kick off to them, they need 20 yards. And they're in, like that's it. They need 2 first downs, and it's like, okay, 3 points.
Yeah, that was, I mean, even when they went for the 58 in the first half, I was questioning it. Like, is it worth the risk of trying to kick a 58-yard field goal and give the other team the ball back? And then he just drilled it. It wasn't even a question. And then you start thinking, wow, maybe he's a pretty good kicker.
One I will say,
and then you see the overtime.
The first half one was the least convincing because that one kind of had like a bit of curve on it. That one, which maybe he did intentionally, I never know from the kicker standpoint there, where like when they're trying to do that for if it's because there shouldn't have been any wind in that stadium, but you never know. But that was the least convincing of them. But he had significant distance left.
Yeah. I'll say one thing that's starting to get annoying watching the Chiefs. How many times are we going to hear that Mahomes got engaged? And they pull the double thing where he got his Super Bowl ring and then he gave his girlfriend the ring every time.
Frank has turned on Mahomes.
I haven't turned on Mahomes. I've turned on the people commentating on Mahomes.
They also talked about his birthday a lot, Frank, which is what you did last Thursday. Yeah, they did that. Yeah. And you know who else?
Shout out to Mahomes. Happy birthday.
It was also Deshaun Watson's birthday.
Who had the better birthday?
Well, Mahomes. It's not close because Deshaun Watson is 0-2, and even though he signed a very nice contract, Patrick Mahomes signed a much bigger contract. So yeah, I'll happily take Deshaun Watson's birthday if that's coming up for my next birthday. I'll take it, but if I have a choice between his birthday and Mahomes's, could I please have the Mahomes birthday package?
Yeah.
And while we're talking about birthday boys who had a good day, well, I'll bring up a topic that I spoke to you guys about that I know neither one of you is going to have any real input on. But Saturday,
you're just talking to the viewers, basically.
Oh, I thought he was going to mention that you both missed my birthday last week, but I guess not.
Right.
Thanks, guys.
That's all we got time for.
But Saturday, one of the greatest turnarounds in the history of the Tour de France. And the winner, who was 21, second youngest winner of the Tour de France in history, Butker, turned 22, I think Sunday or today. So he also had a nice birthday. He's up there with competing with Mahomes for who had the best birthday this year.
Thrilling.
It was thrilling. If you have even a mild interest in cycling, it was one of the more impressive performances I've ever seen. Just for context, just to sum it up really quickly for everyone, Roglic was the favorite going into the Tour de France. He had the best team around him, and obviously teams in team cycling matter a lot in terms of helping you to sort of share the load at different moments of the race. And so childish. So childish. And he went into the final, what is the penultimate stage, stage 20, but realistically it's the final stage because they don't compete for the win they compete for the stage win, but not for the Grand Tour win in the 21st stage into Paris. And he had a 57-second advantage going into a time trial that takes about 57 minutes. So you would have thought it was, and he's one of the best time trialers in the world. So you would have thought it was sort of an insurmountable lead. And Pogacar was of winning the Tour de France from that standpoint.
At the time, yeah.
Roglic was 1-50 to win the Tour.
Wow.
He was the favorite for the stage. So he was like 11-8 favorite for the stage, and he was 1-50 to win the Tour. And not only did he lose his 57-second advantage, he ended up losing the Tour de France by 59 seconds. So it was a huge turnaround.
Wow. That's crazy.
And one of the sadder moments, because it was kind of like he finished, and he actually didn't have that bad of a ride because he finished 5th in the stage. So it wasn't like he totally collapsed, although he was obviously subpar. But just trying to watch him realize what it had, it's like whenever you watch an athlete, like kind of try and process, like, how have I just lost this? And he finished the race. And obviously I think cycling is kind of an interesting standpoint because they're just so tired at the same time. So he's physically exhausted and then just mentally trying to process the fact that his like dreams have just been crushed. And like, how did I lose this? And it was kind of one of those things where you watch it. It's like such a human moment of watching this guy try. And he was very gracious in defeat. They're both Slovenian, so they obviously know each other quite well. And he congratulated the guy who won. And as I said to you, to both of you, if they hadn't both been Slovenian, if they were both English or both French or both American, it would have been a way bigger story. But the fact that it's just like from this country most people haven't heard of, and even if they have heard of it, they're not really sure where it is. It makes it a lot easier to ignore.
Wait, really?
I don't think most people could put Slovenia on the map.
Frank?
Well, no, no, probably not. Not with 100% accuracy. Like maybe like I'm saying is maybe I can guess it. I have an idea.
Yeah.
But I couldn't definitively say like, oh, that's it right there by like the shape or anything.
Yeah. Or the name on the map.
Yeah.
Okay. Sam's got you there. You didn't think of that scenario.
I agree with Eddie though. Had it been like, I don't think it was even on ESPN.
Oh no, it was. It was on NBC.
No. I meant like when I opened up ESPN.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Like the website. For instance, another crazy one to me. I opened up this morning. Deschambault wasn't even on the headline or like the eight main topics they put on the right-hand side. And maybe that's because they think he's as much of an asshole as I think he is, and they just refuse to give him the publicity. But
not just that you think he is, Frank, by the way. It's not like your theory. Most people think he is. Like it's open, right? That like other players think he is, caddies think he is, like people covering the tour think he is. I mean, I guess that's a natural way for us. I think the thing that also, I don't have too much to say about the US Open in some respects. We obviously kind of, in me in particular, ruled Deschambault out because of the idea that it was not going to, it was a course that wasn't going to suit a big hitter who maybe wasn't so accurate. As it transpired with both the success of him and Wolf, is they just out-hit the rough. So everywhere they built this rough up, they hit past it. So it didn't matter that even if you were then inaccurate, it didn't matter. You'd avoided the traps.
See, that's a bigger conversation though, right? Because the thing is DeChambeau changing golf? No, he's just hitting things harder. Like that's fundamentally all he's doing. The bigger question or the bigger debate in golf is that all these traps were built and adapted and changed 15 years ago, 10 years ago. People are hitting it 20, 25 yards longer on average now. So they take out 80% of any sort of obstacle the golf course can throw at them. And I think that's a better argument than saying he's transforming golf. No, I think what's happening is over the past decade or so, you're realizing that more and more these fairway traps are just redundant because people are driving far. I mean, the guy on a par 5 hit, what was it, like a 380 yard, and on a par 5, 560, I think it was, he went driver, pitch and wedge, putter. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, and that isn't, in my opinion, as much to do with DeChambeau as it is that the golf courses themselves need to change traps and obstacles and that quicker. They need to adapt.
Yeah, I mean, it's
you know what? They actually
when Woods first came up. Like when Woods first came up, he was able to kind of do what DeChambeau is doing, and then they adjusted it and made the courses longer, and kind of tried to get ahead of that, and maybe they just have to do it again.
To me, perversely, they have to make the courses shorter. Because the idea is you keep getting longer and longer. But in a way, the most fascinating hole, right, from Morikawa's win was that 16th, the drivable par 4. But there you put the player in a situation of your chances of driving this are really, really slim. Do you want to take the risk? Do you want to go for it? And that's way more interesting from a spectator standpoint than watching some guy play a 600-yard hole where he just drives it 400 and then hits it like relatively easy approach shot. I'd rather see like, okay, here's course management really coming into play here because we've taken length off the course. And so your length doesn't actually, the guy hitting 350 doesn't have that much of an advantage over the guy hitting 300. The thing we do have to give him credit for, right, is we can say he out-hit all of the, and obviously that was what I believe, but he still was the only guy who finished under par. So it's not like the whole course that everyone thought was going to be really hard was really easy. And I think the thing that also hurt him from the coverage standpoint is it went from being a really close finish to him kind of winning by what looks like a landslide, even though it was still up for grabs until like 3 holes left. And that kind of just means like, we're not going to lead with this story because this guy won by 6 shots, which on this course makes it look like he won by 20 in another scenario.
Yeah. The thing with the long ball hitting is obviously Wolff and DeChambeau are 2 of the longest hitters on the tour. But when you look at Wolff's final score, what Eddie's saying is that they can just hit the ball a mile, and whether it's in the rough or not, it doesn't matter because they have an easy approach. In the 3rd round, that worked wonders for Wolff. He hit 2 fairways out of 14 in the 3rd round and was able to shoot an amazing 3rd round. In the 4th round, he did basically the same thing, and he got smoked by it. So I don't think it's just that the reason DeChambeau won was because he was just hitting it far, and whether it was in a rough or not, it didn't matter because Wolff did the same thing. And at the end of the day, his score was right with everyone else, basically. That hits right there in 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
I said this to Eddie offline. It was that a lot of people came out with DeChambeau's win. The problem was like Wolff was, I think he was easier to like out of the 2 as well. You probably would have wanted Wolff. So, but the thing is, a lot of people came out after DeChambeau's win. They basically said he just missed the best. And that's kind of going to what you said. Like every time he did something not as planned or didn't envisage it happening and kind of shanked it, whatever it was, it didn't work out as worse for him as it did other players. Other players got ruined by it. You know, you would see them 2 under, and then 4 holes later they're 4 over. It just didn't happen with DeChambeau. He just missed the best.
He played well. I mean, he recovered from his bad shots really well. The 2 stats that were pretty interesting was, I think Eddie touched on this one, he was the only player on Sunday to shoot under par, which is impressive. That shows, being pretty clutch. But in Wingfoot, who's hosted it 6 times, he's only the 2nd player ever to not score over par in 4 days.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's
impressive.
I mean, he had a good tournament.
The only thing I'll say too is, right, sometimes the analysis is like, are players like him, like the big hitters, are they ruining golf? And people will be like, oh no, because next week he's going to miss the cut. To me, he is one of maybe 10 golfers kind of taking the approach that he has now. He might be the most extreme version, but there's plenty of them out there. And to me, the issue is more, if you have 10, 15 guys in a normal group of, in a normal tournament going out with that approach, we might face in a scenario where one of them wins it every time because they're just rolling the dice on like, will the driver be pretty accurate this week? Will I get a couple lucky bounces? Will I sink a couple big putts or chip in once when I was in a little bit of trouble? And it kind of just ruins it for the guys who are taking the more traditional approach to golf. And also from a viewer standpoint, I think just not as interesting. So that to me is more of the issue. It's like, that the guys with this approach, they're not going to win week in, week out, or even be top 10 week in, week out. But one of them might. And that's the bigger concern.
He came out and he basically said he wants to add about another 15 pounds, put about another 20 yards onto his drive, and it's very so it doesn't look like it's going anywhere. It doesn't look like he's completing this transformation or whatever.
He's just so unlikable.
I'll tell you what, it would have been interesting with DeChambeau to put him in like the British Open, where you've got no tree line, you've got absolutely nothing that's going to help you, and just to see him drive the way he does, wind swirling, just to see what happens when when he tees it up high. When he tees it up high and he expects it to be hit straight and true, and it just flies off. And because he's got the extra power, it'll work against him. But it'll be interesting to see him on a course like that.
Did you see he's the only player on the tour to have a higher loft on his putter than his driver?
Yeah. I also want to see him I want to see him in a Ryder Cup on a links course. And I want to see him I'll take real satisfaction out of just watching him implode in a 4-ball or something where his tee shots are just being whipped away by the wind and his 340-yard ball is finding itself 15 yards into the ocean.
Well, actually, interestingly enough, we've got him at Augusta next, right? So
that might suit him. That's the thing. Like he might get away with it there.
It'll be fun to see him there. I imagine he's going to go off favorite, right? It'll be him or Dustin, I imagine. But
yeah, I mean, it's the thing that bothers me with him is I don't mind the scientific approach philosophy he has. I mean, Tiger Woods made his career off of that. He was super methodical with everything. We've talked before, I think one of the podcasts, he has this basically a house full of all these different equipment that he's constantly testing and tweaking and stuff like that. But Tiger Woods isn't in everyone's face about it, and he's not annoying about it. And DeChambeau, like, even though, like, I still want to gain 15 pounds. Like, just shut up. You won the fucking U.S. Open. Like, just shut up. The other part that really bothers me about him is when he's on the green and he pulls out his 200-page notebook. And there was one in particular I remember where Wolf had a really critical putt, and Wolf stared down every angle of his putt for about 15 minutes. Like, it was way longer than it should be. And DeChambeau was putting after him. So he was already doing the same thing with his putt while Wolf was doing it. Then Wolf takes his putt, and DeChambeau takes like another 5 minutes analyzing his putt. Like, he's just so annoying with this whole like over analyzing and of every shot that he has with his monster notepad. Like, at some point, just play the fucking game, man.
I mean, and he's had real issues. He's had real issues with the slow play, right? Like, of the professional golfers trying to take on the slow players, DeChambeau is kind of the poster boy of slow play. So that is another issue with him. But yeah, there's nothing to like about him. There's really nothing to like about him, and that's just a shame in a sport that desperately needs. Now, look, maybe he's the heel golf needs. Because, maybe hating someone, you can, a lot of times you'd say that, like, you can hate someone more strongly than you can love them. And so maybe.
That's Eddie's philosophy to life.
Yeah. and from a sporting perspective, I think that's often true, right? Your desire to watch someone fail is almost greater than your desire to watch someone else succeed. And maybe in that respect, but what he needs is if you're going to be a good heel, you need a good adversary. You need the good guy, and you need the good guy who's like openly kind of taking you on. And Koepka's obviously had some public comments he's made about DeChambeau in the past, but they need one of the other guys to kind of step up. I mean, in a way, Morikawa's kind of the perfect person for that, because Morikawa's kind of the antithesis of everything that DeChambeau is, and that he's just kind of quiet and composed, gets on with his game, just like seems really nice and pleasant and polite. But, we need someone else to be there so that you feel like you can root against him, but for someone else to sort of knock him off his pedestal. Not that he's on the golfing pedestal, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, when it gets around to it and we start tipping up Augusta and stuff like that, I will never see enough value in DeChambeau to bet on him. I just can't. I can't watch him and openly want him to succeed. I don't think I could ever tip him up. Even if I think he'll win, I can't. I'll look for value elsewhere.
Well, the other thing, too, is because he is such a well-known name at this point, too, there's no value in him because people are betting him, obviously, because they just recognize him as one of the 5 or 6 golfers they know. And so you're seeing a guy who probably should be, say, 16-1 for the tournament, be 10-1 just because of the volume that's coming in behind him. And so it's hard to tip someone like that in the same way that's hard to tip Dustin Johnson or hard to tip, when Tiger Woods, right, was in his prime. Tiger Woods was going off at like 3-1 to win majors. And you can't tip him, even if you're like, he probably will win. It's like there's no value in a guy at 3-1 to win the Masters. And not that any of these guys are ever going to get to that level, but still, it's the same concept where once you just have that name recognition, it's hard to see value.
So
and go for it.
I'll give you the who are the top 3 in your head for the Masters betting at the moment. So I'll give you an idea. It's 9-1, and then there's 2 at 10-1.
Okay. So I would say Do you want me to guess who I think the three are, and Frank can guess who he thinks?
Well, I'll tell you what. Both give me your 9-1, and then both give me your 10-1s, I guess.
I'm gonna say Dustin Johnson's 9-1.
I'm going to say Justin Thomas is 9-1.
Okay, it's Dustin.
And then I'm gonna say Justin Thomas is 10-1.
I'm going to say Dustin Johnson's 10-1, even though I already know he's 9-1.
And then
I'm going to pretend like you didn't.
And then I'm going to assume Deschambault is the other 10-1.
So Deschambault is one of them. Now, think of someone else who actually had a pretty good tournament.
Rory.
Yes, Rory is 10-1.
Thomas
is 12s. Thomas is 12s, and Rahm is 11s.
Rory, I mean, I feel like I say it every golf tournament, right? Every time it comes up.
Well, we've only had two, and you have.
Rory is the king of the one disastrous round. And then he just manages, he's kind of like totally out of the running and then just manages to pull himself back in. And all of a sudden you're like, another top 10 for Rory McIlroy.
He's a prize money chaser. He's a prize money chaser.
No, he kills it on the prize money, but not on the actual trophy. Empty trophy cabinet right now, but it's just stacked full of cash.
Just like one of his, when did he win the British Open, like 2014, 2015 or something like that? Just that, surrounded by loads of bills, like $100 bills.
Now, while we're doing our like roundup of random sports, it was a little bit hard for me to say. Qualifying for the French Open is going on right now, and the French Open proper starts soon. Now, obviously, it's hard.
Is Nadal playing?
Nadal is playing. It's hard to see past anyone but Nadal because he literally nearly owns Roland Garros. But Djokovic won the ATP in Rome today. The final was today, which Nadal was surprisingly knocked out in the quarterfinals, which is the kind of premier warm-up tournament for the French Open, at least this season with Monte Carlo not having taken place. The interesting thing, Novak Djokovic has not lost a match this year that has been completed.
So the only way he can lose is by taking a throat out.
Yeah.
It's just an interesting one.
Or wait, how did he just lose the other one?
I think that might be his only defeat is the disqualification, but he may have retired. Yeah. But
so he can either hurt someone else or hurt himself.
Exactly, and it's the only way he loses.
So is Team any good on clay?
Team's a good clay court player. Yeah, Team has lost the French Open final twice, I think, to Nadal. It's a tough one. I think I feel like every year people try and convince themselves that this is the year Nadal doesn't win it, and then you kind of just get to the final and you're like, well, he's going to win it though, and.
He must be crazy money. He must be like even money or like 13-8 or something like that to win it.
I haven't actually looked at the odds. I would say this year must be the best. I mean, maybe we'll include those odds. Off the top of my head, I think he's probably going to be around even money. He's normally short, like he's normally quite odds on going into the French Open. But just to pick anyone else is crazy from just a historical standpoint. You're talking about a guy who just almost never loses there. So to think that this is going to be the year someone beats him, maybe, but I wouldn't want to. If you've kind of pinned your hopes on that every year, you've lost a lot of money.
Going to what Sam's probably most happy about this weekend.
Oh, Gareth Bale being back.
His team atop the
Gareth
table.
Bale.
The gorgeous Gareth Bale being back in the Premier League. His flowing locks are going to be entertaining Sam for at least 12 months.
He's not an attractive man.
Well, Eddie and I have talked about this. He legitimately has the bone structure of a monkey. He looks like a Neanderthal.
It's okay when you say that about a white guy.
No, exactly. We've had this exact conversation where Gareth Bale is like the only professional athlete that I can call a monkey or an ape or like an ape-like person and know that I can get away with it.
There is such a thin line between literally internationally being cried, like publicly flogged, and calling Gareth Bale a monkey. Like, it is the only exception.
I would say he's more Neanderthal looking.
Okay, pedantics aside, yes, I understand and the kind of lithics that you're in. Yeah, I mean, it's a really good loan signing, right? But the problem is the guy just doesn't play football. Like, I know he's been training constantly, but is he really going to be kind of match fit within what? 4 weeks, 6 weeks? I don't know.
It's hard to judge. It's hard to judge how much personal. I mean, whenever he's been playing for Wales, he's been match fit.
I think he'll relish the kind of being passionate again, and I think he'll really thrive because ultimately this is his shop window now, right? He hasn't had a shop window at Real Madrid because he just doesn't get the opportunity to play.
I don't know if there is a shop window for Gareth Bale because I don't know who would ever be buying him apart from Spurs. So I think the shop window is White Hart Lane. That's it. That's the shop he's going to be sold and bought in and remain in if he's going
White Hart Lane. What, the old stadium? They're just going to put him in like a museum.
Yeah. They're going to put him in one of the apartment buildings that they built there.
They unfroze him during the Ice Age. Yeah, I think it's a good buy.
Yeah, did you see that in the news that they found one of Gareth Bale's ancestors frozen in the tundra in Russia?
Are they gonna defrost and see if he plays as well as Bale does?
Exactly. Yeah, but they
look alike. Maybe they have the same skill level.
Exactly.
Mourinho's really strapped for choice in the market at the moment.
Yeah, I've signed a cave bear, but I think his name is Capybara. He's a hot prospect out of Siberia, but they.
Who would ever say that? Like, how annoyed would you be as a scout when it's like, I've got a really good assignment. It's in the middle of nowhere in Siberia. Oh, and it's about to be winter there, so enjoy that.
Good luck.
Better sign him quick.
But here's the thing, whether or not it's shop window, I just think Gareth Bale is undoubtedly one of the most talented attacking players of the generation. And the fact that he was going to have his career waste away just doing nothing. Now, look, he would argue it's not wasting away because he was earning £300,000 a week or whatever it is, or £600,000 a week. Even,
and he's still picking up medals, right?
And he's still winning La Liga titles and Champions Leagues, and he scored one of the most iconic goals in Champions League final history and done all these sort of things. So he'll, look, most footballers would happily, and most people, take his career in a heartbeat. That being said, he was definitely wasting away, sitting not even on the bench at Real Madrid, just sitting in the stands. And so I'm happy to see a player of his talent actually playing again. Whether or not he ends up being a success in the return to Spurs, just to have him actually playing football again is a good thing.
Yeah, I think it's exactly. Last time on the podcast, I was talking about that Everton Spurs game as well, and I was saying one of the problems is when Kane doesn't score, Spurs score nothing, which is funny now because Son's just come back and scored 4. But I think Bale will fill that gap pretty nicely. I think they would find a way of, because I know a couple of people have made the point about how do you fit all of those attacking players into a system that someone like Mourinho adopts. But I think it's pretty easy. Like, you just have kind of Bale and Son on wide, Kane up front, and I just think it works. I think it makes sense quite easily. But
yeah, they'll be exciting, right? It's a reason to watch Spurs matches again for a while, for sure. Just to see that dynamic. Which
you don't like watching Son play, Eddie? Now you're the
racist. They were good at the weekend, but I'm not going to bite on that one. But
yeah, because you are a racist.
Not against Asians, but they
So you are a racist.
I'm not. All I'm saying is I love South Koreans, but they They
what?
You're done.
They really get you going. They get you. They get your motors turning.
Sam, little do we know that the Orange manager is just staring. He's got the door open at Eddie's apartment. He's just staring down.
With like a hockey mask on.
Yeah, when the line goes dead, you'll know that first he cut my mobile service and then he murdered me.
And then he cut your throat.
Yeah. But no.
And then just for half an hour on this call, we've just got like the orange, like this phone is unavailable, like a burp.
Yeah. And I mean, the other stories from the weekend, United looked awful. Patrice Evra.
So bad.
Patrice Evra told a great story on Sky Sports.
I didn't hear it because, I was with Jake and we switched it off pretty quickly.
It was in the build-up to the match. So they were talking about Zaha, and they were talking about why Zaha failed at United. And obviously, Patrice Evra was playing there at the time that Zaha was a young player at United. And Patrice Evra said, I don't know if it's true or not. But he said, I know the reasons why. He kind of was like, the reason why he failed. Now, I don't know if it actually happened or it didn't, was because he had an affair with David Moyes' daughter. And this is supposed.
And he said, what is it with these players and the sex scandals?
Oh yeah, because the NFL is absolutely like. That's true in the NFL. It's so annoying.
That's not sex scandals. That's just absolute abuse towards women. That's different.
Okay.
Yeah, he took David Moyes' daughter. He laid her on a pile of guns and he beat her up.
Then that's NFL.
Sign him up. Give that guy a contract extension. That guy has the level of testosterone that we need on this team. But now here's the thing is they weren't implying that he did anything, that it was like a one-night stand. I think the implication was that he may have actually been seeing her and that David Moyes, who at the time was manager of Manchester United, didn't like it. Now, as it transpires, this was a story that was kind of around at the time. Zaha has denied it and also denied the fact that he's ever even met David Moyes' daughter, which seems a little bit unusual to me because like there would have been team events and stuff where you would assume his daughter turned up from every once in a while.
How young is she? Is it?
I think a similar age to him. So at the time,
how young was he when he played for United?
21, 22 kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
Now, the thing is, when the story leaked, basically when people started to say they were seeing each other, Zaha never played for Manchester United again. So there is the timelines that like line up. But Zaha, and then the most awkward part about it was then at halftime, I think it was, the Sky presenter had to say, like, we apologize for what Patrice Evra said in the build-up to the match. Zaha has never met David Moyes' daughter. Like, they actually said that as part of the apology. Okay. And I just like Patrice Evra because he just doesn't give a shit and he's just sitting there being like, I'll say something similar a week from now.
Yeah, when you get him and Keane on the same situation, like, even though they were at some point like colleagues in that respect, it was just funny that they fall out with each other, and it's brilliant. But the Premier League this weekend was again weird. Like, no home team can defend, is probably something I've learned. And most teams that performed well in the week one or like last week kind of either showed another side this week. So you had teams that performed pretty well, like Newcastle performed pretty well, then they did pretty terribly. You look at someone like Liverpool, where obviously people were talking about how shaky they look maybe defensively, but then they go and comprehensively outperform Chelsea, who
hold on.
No.
They were down to 10.
I don't feel that's fine, but I don't feel like there was any point in that where I thought Chelsea had the upper hand or were competitive.
Upper hand, competitive, sure. Upper hand, no. But you're still playing with 10 men for whatever it was, 50 minutes, 55 minutes. You're not going to win many matches with 10 men for that long length of time.
Yeah. Okay. But just going on to the kind of wider point, I guess, like Spurs looking pretty bad in the first game, then they go and smash Southampton. It was again just a pretty weird Premier League week.
And we should say right now, as we're recording, it is 70 minutes into the City match, and City are 2-0 up away to Wolves.
Yeah.
So
let me read the top of the table to you. Right now you have tied for, I guess, technically tied for the top, but when you do goal differential, not really. But Leicester, Everton, Arsenal, Liverpool, Crystal Palace.
I mean, that's how it'll finish, right?
Yeah. In that order, it'd be pretty impressive.
I mean, the one guarantee from week 2 is that West Brom really aren't good enough. Like, if there was any sort of like doubt, like first game or something like that, the Everton game, they were just, the Kieran Gibbs sending off, they were already starting to kind of slip to the Everton kind of attacking style, but they just got blown away by the end of it. And there's no depth there. I can see West Brom being that kind of team that ends the season maybe on like 20 points.
I don't think they'll
points.
get to 20 points.
It could be one of those record low kind of.
I don't think they'll get to 20 points. But the West Brom are definitely going down, and I think that after this weekend, and okay, week 2, you know, second 2 matches in, you don't want to start jumping to too many conclusions. Also going to be tough for Fulham because they lost a real 6-pointer in the match against Leeds. And so they're already, you know, those are the matches you have to be picking points up from. And they didn't look that bad in the match, but I think you're starting. I would already say West Brom are down, and Fulham are not far off.
So who's the? I mean, at the moment, I'm putting West Ham. I know they had a much improved performance, but when you look that bad, just turning up and running around a little bit was improved against compared to the Newcastle game. So even though it was improved against Arsenal, I'd be worried for them and their season.
Well, in order right now from goal differential, you have United, West Ham, Sheffield, Fulham, Southampton, West Brom. You could see Fulham, Southampton, West Brom being the 3, you know, this early on. Maybe not Southampton.
I think Southampton will be fine. I think they'll score enough goals. I think that's the thing going for them, that they'll score enough goals. That's the thing where I worry when I look at West Brom. I don't know where they're going to get that many goals from, and they also can't really defend. So just where you see them like winning matches, it's hard. They really need another team. Sheffield United too, right? Like, do not look great so far.
Yeah, poor result today against relegation potential.
Yeah, so
I mean, maybe that's who you slot in instead of Southampton, Sheffield United.
I would say more like.
Otherwise, it's West Ham. You know.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few teams, and look, it's 2 weeks in. You can look bad for 2.
It's
like
done,
United are.
Eddie, it's overreaction week.
Yeah, no, that was week 1. United looked really bad, but United aren't going to go down, right? So.
But it's week 1 for them, so overreaction.
Yeah.
Okay, United are going down.
There you go.
I mean, that would be
sorry,
Jake. If that transpired, you should be on every Sky Sports. You should be on every single like app betting website, because if you're the guy that predicts Man U go down with any sort of like justification from that first game, you are pundit of the year.
I would like to see me on Sky Sports with Roy Keane. I would enjoy that. I'm not sure the world would, but I would.
You would go into your kind of like we were saying at the start, that kind of like dick logic with Roy Keane. You'd be like, oh, so you're going to fuck him up, are you? You'd literally go out there and fuck him up. And Roy Keane would be like, no. That's exactly what I'm doing.
Hey, I don't think... Language, we're on Sky Sports. But also, just to touch on another topic that we've spoken about in recent weeks, last week, 2 episodes ago, we did that. Frank, you gave us that exciting guessing game of sports billionaires. And included in that list was Floyd Mayweather.
Yes.
Now, last week, there is now heavy speculation that Floyd Mayweather will be coming out of retirement to fight Jake Paul, the YouTuber.
Wow.
Now, if we needed any further confirmation that Floyd Mayweather is not in the billionaire bracket, that's all. That's it.
No. He's made $1 billion.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
he's down $1.4 billion.
Yeah. I mean, what a pathetic
I remember when there was there was Jake Paul and there's another YouTuber called KSI, and they basically talk smack about each other, and they agreed to do a boxing match, and obviously they promoted it, and they must have got absolute millions in, and it's widely known that the reason that was called a draw was because then they could make more millions from just doing it again. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if like Mayweather and Jake Paul did some sort of agreement where Mayweather just toyed with him for like 5 rounds, so they got loads of money from it, etc., and then just knocked him out in one go. And then Jake Paul can go away and be like, I survived 2 rounds with Floyd Mayweather.
Sam, you mean he's going to sign the Conor McGregor contract?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. It's a joke. I
mean, the only interesting thing, right? It's kind of sad to see. I mean, Floyd Mayweather is an absolute piece of shit, so he deserves every negative thing in his life, just the way he treats women and stuff like that. So it's not sad from that perspective. That being said, he is a sporting icon, and
you're racist again.
Yeah, I don't want to say. I don't want to say your sporting achievements make up for what your personality and character is away from sports. But the fact that you have arguably the greatest pound for pound boxer of all time potentially fighting a YouTuber who has fought in 2 fights, as Sam touched on, because they had the draw and then they had a rematch. He lost the rematch. So you're fighting against a guy who's never won a fight. I mean, it's not far off him just fighting me for money. I mean, it's like him just as if you're going to a carnival and Floyd Mayweather is there and he's just like, hop in a ring, pay $50, knock out the king and you get 1,000. Like he's just a couple weeks away from that. And the only thing you can say is
Eddie,
against Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say I would last. I'm going to lose on points because that's the way Floyd Mayweather beats
You're going to points against Floyd Mayweather
in 1 round.
No, I said how long can you last? It's not the fight's not over round 1, and then it's going to a tight points decision.
he points system. I love it.
So no, hold on. So
Eddie gets points for flair. He's just there shuffling around the side of the ring.
Oh,
in Eddie's head, he wins at least 2 out of 5 rounds.
He does the Ali shuffle and all that.
No. I do the Prince Nassim Hamid flip into the ring over the ropes. I for sure do. I pull that one out for sure, and I nail the landing. And at that point, Floyd knows he's in trouble. It's a mental game, and it's checkmate by the time the first bell rings.
Is it really?
Yeah. No, but here's the question, right? We've actually had this debate before because at a bar that we go to, one of the bartenders we had the discussion of like how much money would it take for you to get in the ring with Anthony Joshua? And my question was always like, do I say I get 10 million pounds, $10 million? Does that mean I can take a year to prep for the fight so I just get in shape where I know I'm going to get knocked out, but I at least think that the knockout's not going to kill me? Because right now I get in the ring, he just literally kills me.
But my question is, how does getting in shape have anything to do with if he hits you in the temple, whether you're in shape or not?
Because I want neck muscles. I want my neck muscles to be prepared.
Okay, here's another one though, right?
Eddie, I'm sure your neck muscles get plenty of work on a weekend basis.
Oh, I'm not Sam, all right?
Oh, wow, okay. So you're allowed 12 months, right? And you can either have that to prepare for Joshua, or you can have like some of it after to recover. Are you going full 12 months and then say like you get brain damage against Joshua, but you got to go back to work like at the weekend?
No. I mean, I've made enough money, right? This is $20 million hits my bank account. I get 12 months to prep for the fight.
Yeah, but you can't even spell bank anymore because that part of your brain's gone from the amount of blows you just took from Joshua.
Here's the thing is, and I'm being really honest here, I know I get knocked out against Anthony Joshua in the first round. Maybe the second round, because maybe he just takes it easy on me because he almost feels sorry for me, and he probably spends a round just like questioning how his life has ended up in the point that it's in at that moment. But deep down inside me, when I get in that ring, part of me is thinking, if I can just land one.
Do you just take his first jab and go down?
So this is the other issue. We've always debated this. Can I just take like a relatively soft jab to the shoulder and then just go down? But I think the argument has to be that as long as I can get up, I have to keep getting up until it gets
the better
stopped.
argument would be like, yeah, you get $1 million for every punch taken that you're still standing.
No, you wouldn't want to do that. Maybe time. Maybe you get a $500,000 like every 30 seconds or something. Because every punch taken, that's like encouraging me to run into his blows.
I don't think I could. I'd be down on the floor after one actual forceful punch from Anthony Joshua, the same way he would punch anyone.
Yeah, but you, Sam, you'd be down on the floor on all fours, just saying, "Anthony, mount me."
That would be a very different thing that the fans are looking for.
We're going Greco-Roman here, aren't we?
Traditional. No clothes.
Naked, oiled up.
Oiled up, yeah.
I brought my favorite pina colada lube as oil. I hope that's acceptable.
Yeah, suffice to say, this isn't very high up the card.
Eddie, all I can keep thinking of you getting in the ring with him is on that Graham Norton show when he had the punching machine and he doesn't even hit it that hard and almost breaks the machine. Oh my God. I would love it. I would love.
Now,
to
here's the
see
thing:
it.
Anthony Joshua or Floyd Mayweather, two very different prospects. Because like Floyd Mayweather has like weak hands, brittle hands. He's like hands break, so he can't really knock people out anymore.
Are you going to use the word frail?
Yes,
Frail
so
hands.
frail.
So at least in the case of Mayweather, I actually don't think Mayweather would. If I trained for a year, I don't think Mayweather would knock me out. He would obviously just dismantle me in the ring on technique, but I don't think. I think I could actually.
I think he knocks you out.
I think I lasted. You also just got to talk size advantage here. I am like 7 inches taller than Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah, and you
So
were about
he's
7
just
inches
hitting
taller
your
than
gut.
those French guys that beat your ass every time at the bar.
He is
And none of
just
them have
hitting
ever
your
knocked.
gut.
None of them have ever knocked me out.
Yeah,
He is
because they're
just hitting your
French.
gut. You are vomiting. The way you could beat Floyd Mayweather, he punches you in the gut so much, you vomit on him and you gross him out.
Oh yeah,
I
that might
think
be-
I think he gets he. I mean, you're right. He's not going to one punch knock you out, but the accumulation of 40 to 50 shots to the head from Floyd Mayweather will knock you out.
the head wouldn't be my issue. The issue would be body shots. That's where he's most likely to knock me out through a body shot than he is through the head. Because he's going to have to reach up pretty high to hit me in the head. But he is going to just be able to pick apart underneath my ribs.
I would just do the hugging.
The joke's on him. I'm just going to have my belt around my nipples.
Oh my god! Please walk into the
great
ring
view.
like that.
So the last thing we need to mention is a little NHL update. So we have officially started the Stanley Cup Finals. Game 1 was Saturday, and Game 2 is this afternoon or tonight. So before we get into who won Game 1, last round I won 1 out of 2 series. Or no, we both won 1 out of 2 series. And we've decided that we're going to see the finals. So I'm technically up 1 game or 1 series of correct picks on Sam. So if Sam can win the Stanley Cup Finals, he'll tie, Sam the Squid will tie the amount of wins I have.
I actually think I should win if I win the Stanley Cup final to tie. I think I should win because I got the final correct.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Well, I'm the only one here who actually knows both of your predictions, right? So I'll use this up. Maybe you'll change your mind as to who wins or who loses when you know what the other one's actually chosen. So
I've
Frank,
picked the Lightning.
You've both chosen the Lightning. You have both predicted the Lightning win. However,
I didn't
How
go
did
for the
you
Stars.
pick the Lightning?
Didn't go for the Stars.
How did
So-
you not pick Dallas?
Frank has predicted that the Lightning win in 6. Sam has predicted that the Lightning win in 7. Frank has predicted that there will be 27 goals in the series. And Sam has predicted that there will be 32 goals in the series.
Wow.
So you basically kind of have like an identical prediction, just with 1 game more.
Okay, Eddie, I'm going to throw this out. So Game 1, I don't know if Sam saw, Dallas won 4-1.
Yeah, Sam didn't.
It
know
was
that at
3-1,
the time.
but they score an empty net. So Dallas is now up 1-0.
yeah,
Sam,
and
I
5
will
goals
give
in.
you, the opportunity. Knowing Dallas is up, do you want to change your pick?
No.
I want to negotiate on behalf of my client. If he switches,
Wait,
picks-
is the Squid the client?
Squid is the client.
Yeah.
What a stupid Asian! Like walks in with a squid.
Just a squid on, just a squid on ice.
Are you carrying it in your like a baby, like a cradle?
No,
or is
but
it in a case?
What? Sorry. What was that squid? What was that sound? Like, is this guy talking to a squid?
If he switches and if he then wins the series, does he win the playoff matchup outright?
No, because they're already up 1. I will say we have tied. I will say that
Well, then
Sam the
he-
Squid is as good as picking NHL series as I am.
Well, then there's no reason, Sam. There's no reason to do it because you tie if it goes 7 and the Lightning win.
No. If the Lightning win, then we both pick the series correctly.
No, because then why did we pick the tiebreakers?
I don't know, because you asked me.
I didn't ask you. You volunteered the tiebreakers.
You know what
I've been doing
tiebreakers
it-
are called? Tiebreakers are
literally-
called tiebreakers for a
Yeah.
reason. They break ties.
So no, if the Lightning the Lightning win in 7, Sam wins this round.
Yeah.
You can say it's a like asterisk.
But then what if I get more goals? What if I get closer to the goals?
Well, you can't get. Well, yeah.
Unfortunately, it's hard to be that much closer because you're only 5 goals apart. So like, it's an unlikely scenario.
And we're only one game apart, though, too.
One game's a lot bigger than 5 goals, though.
The over
it's about one game. Actually, Eddie, 5 goals is literally like one game.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. If someone predicted the series score correct and then they were like 5 goals off, people would be more impressed by that than someone who, like, say Sam had predicted 20 goals and he gets the series completely the wrong way round. He doesn't go, well, at least I predicted 20 goals.
I guess for our difference in the middle, we're looking at what, like over 29.5 would be the middle ground, if I've worked that out correctly, like 2.5, and there's 5 between us. So would you say that's a fairer way, rather than being like, okay, there was 28, but because obviously Frank's one lower, it goes to the squid. Like, would you say that we should change it up to maybe like the over under at 29.5?
No, Price is Right rules.
Okay. So if it's a penny over, if it is 1 goal over,
29 goals,
squid wins. If it's Price is Right rules.
I never agreed to Price is Right rules.
So
Well,
Sam has 29 to affinity, and Frank has currently 5 to 28.
Wait,
I'm
why
wondering
28?
whether I want to change.
I thought it was if it's over 27. I thought Frank picked 27.
Okay, yeah, whatever he picked.
So I'm allowed 28 onwards.
Fuck off.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you're allowed 27 and below. And there's already 5.
What if I switched? Oh, God.
Panic.
I just don't want to root. I don't want to root for the Stars. I don't want to root for them. That's the issue.
Panicked by a squid.
As the Squid's agent, I will allow you. I will say the Squid offers you the switch.
But then if it wins, he wins. I know.
Yeah. Same rule.
I know. But I just don't want to root for them. I just don't like them.
I like how the squid can't even like negotiate because it's a squid. So this is just
squid.
Eddie negotiating.
Because the overwhelming stat is since like 1939, the team that's won game 1 has won 76% of the Stanley Cups. So you're looking at a significant advantage after winning game 1. And
yeah, I mean, I do. You know my opinion on stats like that. That's always one of those stats of like, hey, you know, the team that wins the first game often is better, and so they often win the series.
Yeah, but not in a Stanley Cup final. You have
just
to
want to
assume
say
both games are good.
the thing is, right, the squid has had a good rep in NBA and NHL for picking the underdog and it going well. So I would feel that it would be too painful to switch even though they're 1-0 up. I think I'd rather go to the tiebreakers than, yeah.
And that's my other concern is I have Lightning in 6. So it becomes a little more difficult for the Lightning down 1 to win in 6 now. They have to win.
Oh, yeah. If the Lightning are winning, Sam is probably winning at this point.
Yeah. Shit. No, I just can't root. I'd rather
tie
Sam.
He's done you.
He's in your head. I mean, you said it last time. This squid is on your head.
I'd rather tie the squid than have to root for Dallas after they've screwed me every series this playoffs.
So bearing in mind about when we first started this podcast, this was for the NHL, and look at the panic. Look at the panic on this tipster's face.
It's also, it's pretty interesting. The interesting fact I heard was it's the 2 most southern teams playing in the most northern arena in the NHL. It's pretty good. Dallas and Tampa.
Well, I know when I think ice hockey, I think Texas and Florida, so.
Yep. Yeah, all right, I'm going to stick with the Lightning. I just got to hope they have to win today. Have to win. It's a must-win game. All right. Now I know what I got to root for. Anything else, boys, we want to cover before we head off here?
No, I think that's about it for this week.
No, so we've all picked the Saints tonight, right? Or tonight.
Yep.
Against the Raiders.
Yeah, we all picked the Saints.
I have the Saints left to crawl back from a miserable weekend of betting. This is my only chance, the last thing of my bet, to at least break even this weekend.
Okay, we should release this episode quickly so that our listeners get to benefit from that information and just pile on Vegas.
Yep. Go to Vegas and pile on Vegas.
How's the Duke of Curse going at the moment? Has there been any instances of the Duke of Curse?
Well, I predicted
I guess
Eddie
you could
would have
argue-
internet the first day he moved into his apartment. So look how that's working for him.
You could also argue that he talked up how lethal the Giants' offense was looking, and within a couple quarters, Saquon Barkley no longer had a knee.
That's a good one.
And also, obviously, the Steelers are done, and they're 2-0.
Listen, I'm still not high on the Steelers. They did not look that great this week against a Broncos team that was missing.
I love the idea that they're going to go like. No, I love the fact that they're going to be like 16-0 going into the Super Bowl. Like, I'm still.
They've had easy games. They have had easy games.
And then they're going to be like, they'll win the Super Bowl by 50 points. Like, guys, come on, the Steelers still though they weren't that good.
This was their swan song year. This was it.
No, they did not play that convincingly. I mean, they beat the Broncos by 5 points. We'll see. They play the Texans next week, which is a better point, even though the Texans are 0-2
The
this
Texans,
year.
I think, are the litmus test of like, if you beat the Texans, you're a good team. We had this before, right?
Unfortunately for the Texans, they're currently getting beat by good teams every week.
So we doubted that with the Chiefs. But I think the Texans, like if you beat the Texans, I think you're legitimately decent to good.
Yeah. So the Steelers' next 4 games are the Texans, the Titans, the Eagles, and the Browns. Let's see what they do. Let's see what their record is after the first 6 games. I say 2-4.
Okay, so what's your prediction? Give us your prediction.
No, I'll say they're 3-3.
Give us game by game. Tell us what they do in those 4
So
games.
they're winning 1 more and losing 3, basically.
Lose to the Texans. Titans, close match, but lose. Titans defense kills Ben Roethlisberger. Eagles, Battle of Pennsylvania. I think they can beat the Eagles. The Eagles look miserable right now. And then Browns, I will take the Browns over the Steelers that week. Even if the Steelers going into that game against the Browns are 5-0, I will still take the Browns.
I don't hate that. I mean, it depends a little bit what the Browns do between now and then. If we're getting the Thursday night, I guess we kind of didn't touch on that. I said Baker Mayfield looked pretty good. Joe Burrow looked all right. I guess we just need to maybe acknowledge that fact. We didn't really talk about the fact that he had 2 rookie quarterbacks who looked pretty decent this weekend. We kind of didn't make Herbert and Burrow.
Oh, Herbert, man. He's going to haunt me for my entire life. Sam, because I live on the West Coast, I have the amazing benefit of watching the shitty Pac-12 football games every weekend. And I've been watching Herbert for several years now and have talked up to Eddie and Tim how I wanted the Giants to draft him for the longest time. Like, he's a smart QB. He's deceivingly quick. I think he runs like a 4.4 40. He's pretty quick. He's got a good arm. He's smart on the field. And they end up obviously taking Daniel Jones. And Herbert
Frank, what a racist description of a white quarterback you've just given. He's smart on the field, good arm, deceptively quick.
How is that he's quick?
No, deceptively implies that he did.
Why doesn't he look 6? But why doesn't he look 6? Because he's like 6'6",
no, I know,
250.
But you're giving the like stereo, and I'm just joking with you, but you are giving the stereotypical like description of a quarterback, like a white quarterback, like reads the game well, good arm, like reliable in the pocket, can take off if he needs to. Like, you wouldn't think it, but he's a little bit more mobile than you'd think.
That's true. The amount of white QBs that get the term intelligent thrown at them or smart, that's true, actually.
But I can back it up. I think he is intelligent because you know what his major was? Microbiology and biology, double majored at Oregon and graduated in like 2.5, 3 years.
That makes you clever in microbiology, right?
Well, it just makes you a smart person to be a scientist.
I guess so. We'll let our listeners decide. They're getting 4 to 5 hours of evidence a week where they can decide how smart Herbert is.
The podcast has changed considerably.
Yeah.
Since I was here, what's gone on?
But yeah, Herbert looked really good in the first game. But again, it's the first game. You never know.
Yeah, Daniel
But
Jones.
I can
as I said
say
to you,
he's done more than
Daniel Jones looked great in his first game, and now he looks like, I don't know, he doesn't even look like he should be holding field goals.
Herbert almost beating the Chiefs is now a bigger accomplishment than anything Daniel Jones has done in his first 18 games he started.
That might actually be true.
It's definitely true.
The only thing I will say is Herbert also, like, their run game was good. As I said to you, I think in a way that was kind of a perfect game to be dropped in because the expectation is you're going to lose. So you kind of get like total pressure off. Let's just go for this. And in a way, he didn't make any plays down the stretch when they really needed him to do something. So that's the only thing I would say on him. But, it's one game. But he looked decent. I'll put it this way. If I have a choice between him and Burrow, I think I want Herbert.
Burrow looked pretty good, though, too.
Burrow looked all right. He just looks like such a dork in his helmet. He has like the Eli Manning syndrome where like once he puts the helmet on.
And Daniel Jones.
Yeah, they just don't look right. Like the helmet just like doesn't fit right. It like never looks comfortable on their head. And he just like.
No, I completely agree. He has that helmet look to him.
Already got
and no one with that helmet look.
Spread. Already got one up on you guys when I saw the Thursday game on the spread against you guys because I took the Bengals +6.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Look, somehow. I know it was somehow. But...
Yeah, there were a few lucky money line wins. But that was a atrocious like backdoor cover for the fact like the Browns outplayed them so much, and the fact that they just got that garbage time touchdown to bring it back, like cover the spread. A little bit sickening if you took the Browns to cover.
Hey, you did have an OBJ touchdown.
Yep. Yeah.
You did post on Instagram about. Do you want to hear his weekly Instagram update?
Oh yeah, give us the Frank OBJ poop corner.
So OBJ put up a picture and said, "God got me through a flood. You think I won't make it through a drought?"
No.
I doubt it.
How did he use
a flood of shit?
How did he use flood?
Which is interesting because he had one 40-yard touchdown catch, but other than that, he only had like 3 other catches the whole game. He didn't play a spectacular game by any standards.
He wasn't,
but he finally had his touchdown.
He wasn't targeted a lot either, so it was not like he had drops. Like he pretty much caught everything that went his way.
Let's see what we got. Let's go to the comments section. Them shit jokes getting old. So this guy, he doesn't appreciate him anymore. Right off the bat, you got a guy who's anti shit jokes. Too bad no one listens. Talk your shit, OBJ. Shit on them. This is a good one. This guy really went for it. Don't worry about that hater shit, bro. You know that shit is bullshit. You know people who are talking shit just do that shit to get noticed and shit. Just keep grinding and shit, and all that shit will fall into place.
I mean, what makes it funnier is how you constantly talk about the joke. It just never loses value.
Yeah. I mean, that's almost Shakespearean, really.
He really went for it. That guy really went for it. Get that shit off your chest. Get that shit off your chest. Grind time. Don't let people shit on you. You even made it through a shit storm. He went for the whole storm flood.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's the best so far.
Yeah.
Do your shit, Odell. Do you have something long and hard? I don't know what that one means.
Sam? Why have you been commenting on OBJ's?
What's the Twitter name there?
Kinky Sam. You'll make it through a flood of shit trust. And then this symbol. I don't know what you call that emoji.
Fist?
The fist?
The reverse fist. No, like when it's like this. I don't know.
Fist, right?
That just looks like a fist to me. I don't understand.
This one's the
what
fist.
The reverse.
That one's
Oh,
the
I see what you mean. The solidarity fist.
The
solidarity
okay.
fist. Okay, there you go.
I mean,
You
that
guys
isn't the official
literally
name.
shit on the Bengals. Good shit, bro. I know you can handle a big flood, Daddy. Winky
There it
face,
is.
poop
There
emoji.
it is. That's the one.
Let's just end on that one. Let's.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah.
The daddy reference pushed it over the top.
There we go. Well, that's all I've got. We'll see you boys later.
Cheerio.